Hey everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome to Goshen Prepping.
Woo!
Whoop, whoop.
Did it scare you?
Raise the roof.
You? Hi.
How's everybody doing tonight? We are going live, and Naomi's already leaving. Bye, Naomi.
No, baby dropped her toy.
Oh.
Thank you. But Naomi saved her toy.
Yeah, so we're on our nice live stream this evening. I've been looking forward to it all day. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Let me move this microphone a little bit so it's kind of sharing the wealth here.
Hi, everyone.
We were playing musical seats a few minutes ago.
All right. Hey, Redfish, Texas, you weren't first in the house tonight.
Uh-oh.
Kenneth Martin was first. Hi, Kenneth. We have Storm Chasing Gal, Chillin' Penguin Army. Also missed out being first, Chillin' Penguin Army. Dumpster Ahoy, TJF. Hey, Phil. Joni from Virginia. How's our Valentine's?
She's
That's
good.
our Valentine's.
Uh-huh.
Either that or the cats.
Yeah, she's teething.
Let's see. We have Vicky. Hello. Georgiana. Good to see you. Kim. Yay. Kim, the Michigander neighbor. Let's see. Is this season Homestead? Hello from Texas. Hello to you. Brenda. Arizona Watchwoman. Tin Foil.
Hi, Tim.
Beautiful. Oh, good. First time commenter. Good. I'm glad you're here. We enjoy our live streams, and live streams are just fun. Some of the things we can talk about, discuss, and just kind of see how things are going. All right. Lots of people coming in here, including living in Fort Lauderdale.
Hey.
We used to live in Fort
We
Lauderdale.
did.
I love Fort Lauderdale. Pennsylvania. Quick shout out. Where's everybody at? Where are you from? Well, where are we from? Where do you live? How about that?
Yeah.
I'm from New York. I'm a New Yorker. But now I'm in Michigan. Michigan people don't talk that way.
I was going to say they don't.
All right.
I mean, I'm originally from Colorado for doing that.
Yeah.
Naomi's from Colorado.
Yeah.
Coloradan.
Yeah, she's Colorado.
Ashley's a Michigander.
I am.
All right. Glad you guys are here.
Oh, someone's from Goshen, Ohio.
Cool.
Hi.
Cool. Actually, Virginia's from Goshen, New York.
Oh, that's funny. Lots of Goshens.
I love Goshen, New York. I've never been to Goshen, Ohio.
We've passed through it.
Passed through it.
We have. We have passed through it.
All right. How's everybody tonight? What's new on the home front? What kind of preps have you guys been doing? What kind of stockpiling have you been doing? What kind of good canned food have you been putting away? Those are all just one big question for you.
That is a question.
Ooh, Northern Cali. I like Northern Cali.
Yeah, we have snow.
Lots of
Although
snow.
it's actually, a lot of it's melting.
Yeah, the snow.
Yeah.
We had about 1.5 feet, and now I swear we probably last at least 6 inches.
Yeah. I know.
It's
It's
definitely-
still pretty deep out there when
It's
you walk.
definitely melting.
So.
Definitely melting. Which is really bizarre. Lots of Sup, Ross? J. Ross? It's good.
Lots of Texans here.
Glad you guys are here.
People from Georgia.
Now, obviously, Texas is one of the things we'll talk about tonight. But just preparedness, prepping, survivalist, anything you want to discuss, any questions you have, be sure to shout them out. Cooking with Cat Lover, good to see you. So if you put it at, are you on the right channel tonight, Neil?
Yeah.
The Knowledge Realm. Go ahead and shout out Neil real quick yourself. So if you want to put at the Knowledge Realm, if you have a question, or if you want to put it at Goshen Prepping, it'll help us see it better. And of course, as we go through, we always have people who will super chat or super sticker. We're always welcome those, but it's not required. We try to. There's our first super chat. We try to be equal opportunity question answerers if you have any. But anyways, Tim for $4.99 says, "Good evening, Goshen family."
Good evening,
Good evening
Tim.
to you, sir. Welcome to Goshen Prepping.
Somebody said they were canning up chicken broth or chicken bone broth. I did that last week.
Yeah, lots
So
of it.
I did. I'm gonna use some this week. So
It's amazing how it just changes things. It was the bones.
it was something I literally was just gonna toss, and I was like, hey, I've got a bunch of scraps. Let's throw it together, and it made yummy stuff.
We need to send snow to Rio Grande.
Send snow to the Rio Grande?
I don't
I'll
know.
box it up tomorrow.
Or you can send some warm weather up here. Well, I think you probably did. I think we already
yeah,
got
that's
your warm
probably why
weather.
we got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get some snow. Not like an accumulation. Is that tomorrow?
I don't know.
Then it's supposed to be back into the 40s again?
I hope not.
It's just weird how
I was like, what's some
the weather. It's like there's some kind of climate thing going on. I'm not sure what
Right?
that would be.
I don't know. It's weird.
I'm looking at the forecast real quick.
I have one question.
Yeah, it's supposed to be by midweek possibly in the 40s
Tuesday
this week.
Of course. Go.
All right.
Go to-
Yeah, Sherry says I didn't get a notification for this. Yeah, because YouTube doesn't like us. We are shadow banned under YouTube.
Oh.
And so therefore they purposely don't send out notifications on our channel.
I think if you're doing something right, YouTube doesn't like you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
Crazy or not. But
Yeah, it's like I talked in a previous live stream when it was just me about people get the play button, and I can't remember which the first play button is. It's 100,000. I think it's the silver play button, isn't it, Naomi? Do you know?
Yeah, it's silver.
And they didn't give me one,
Yeah.
and
We were controversial.
I sent them a application to get it, and then they said no, and I asked them why, and they said because you have too many issues, and I was like, okay.
Pamela
So-
has cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls,
Ooh, yummy.
bread and cinnamon rolls. That's
Yummy,
dangerous
yummy.
stuff.
We'll trade snow for cinnamon rolls.
She has a lot of snow herself.
Maria said they have 2 seasons in Texas,
Hot and
summer
hot.
and Hades.
I was gonna say hot. And
We
hot.
have all 4 seasons up here in Michigan: snow, and road construction.
No, it's actually road, and then snow. The road up here, it's awful, awful,
I think
awful.
it's road, snow with road, snow with road.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah, we actually had to call the county this week to have them come out and plow our
Plow our road.
roads because it was so.
It was
bad.
almost
I-
impassable.
It was awful.
Hi, Australia.
Are you talking to the country?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, everyone in Australia.
Yeah, no notifications. It does happen where we can't go live on a Sunday night. It does happen.
Yeah.
We try to let everybody know ahead of time because YouTube does not put out notifications. Some people it does. I literally have people who just sign up and they're like, "Yay, here's a new channel," and they'll get notifications. But people who have been on for a while, they don't tell them anymore.
Do you need to go out?
Who is it, Snowball?
Yeah.
Here, let me message Sam.
Yeah. Sorry, the dog, which is our son's, is wants to go outside.
The dog, which is our son.
Well, our son's dog, how about that? Is like, let me go outside. So, though she went outside a little bit ago. But she's been getting into trash. She's our trash dog. She's ridiculous. She's getting things off the counters and I don't know. She's.
All right,
Someone
hold
said
on.
they love the play button Sam made you.
Yeah, I should grab it.
Did you show it? That's funny.
Let me go grab it, and I'll call
Yeah, that's
Sam.
funny.
Spoil the
I see a question, Kelly. I'll be with you in 1 second.
Yeah, I have 3 questions.
Uh-oh. So you spoiled the surprise?
Oh, I don't know if it was a surprise.
Oh, okay.
Go away.
So hopefully everybody's weekend went well. It was good here. We got a lot of projects done around the house. A couple that we didn't anticipated were able to get done, so that's good.
I tried a pottery wheel for the first time.
She did.
Yeah, Hannah took me to the studio, and she's like, "Here's some clay. Make
Yeah.
a pot." And I was like, "I'm gonna make a vase," and she's like, "No, make a bowl."
Start with the easy stuff. Yeah, we were excited. Hannah's normally with us in the live streams, but we had to switch because she's been bombarded with schoolwork. So,
Just go 30 days.
what was that?
Working from home.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
you can go 30 days.
We will check as far as live stream
Wait, no, you
next
can't.
week. I think we're good for live stream next week. Are we? Do you know?
Are we going live now? I think so.
I think we're good. I will look at the calendar for the end and let you guys all know, but we should be a go for next. Sometimes we don't go if we have technical difficulties, but if we can't hear. Oh no, nobody can hear me?
Guys, if you can't hear me with asking questions, they will say
Yeah,
it.
we'll help her.
I'm just quiet.
She is very quiet. We were too quiet.
All right.
All right.
So, what did we come up with the name for this? It's the.
I don't know.
I don't know.
There we go.
Can I stay up?
There we go. It's the something play button. I forgot. We actually one of our followers came up with an amazing name for it.
All right. We have a few questions.
All right, so a few questions. Good.
All right.
All right. What do you think of fire emergency blankets from ProFire?
Okay, so the question is, what do I think of fire emergency blankets from ProFire? Fire emergency blankets themselves are excellent. I'm not familiar with specifically from ProFire. You do have to look at as far as the price goes, but understand your comforter can work as an emergency blanket, except there's a possibility that blanket could catch on fire itself. Because obviously if you take away the oxygen by covering up with a blanket, it works very well. But if we're talking about a certain temperature, it could flare back up again, and the blanket itself can catch on fire. The biggest between that and an emergency fire blanket is they're non-flammable. And that's actually the important thing. Having one of those around is always a good idea. But you can try to cut off the oxygen with using a regular blanket, just you have to be really careful it doesn't catch on fire itself.
Yeah.
Play button of doom.
We'll come up with a real good name. We'll keep that down so far. Can you guys see it? It's kind of a weird position.
I think they can. I don't know.
The play button of doom.
I don't know.
We have 2 questions that kind of work together. If you can go 3 days without water and then 30 days without food, what do you drink and eat to restart the countdown?
Okay, so if you can go 3 days without water and 30 days without food, and let me address that part first. This is very important you understand this, because people are like, okay, let's see, you know what? I don't have any water. Start the clock. I'll see you in 3 days without water. It's going to be basically toward the third day, you're going to be good for nothing. Think about that first off. And then 30 days without food, after probably a week, you're going to be good for nothing, if not for certainly 2. I usually look at more like 3 weeks without food, because you really get to the point where you are so low in energy, you really can't do anything.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. If you get to that state where you don't have water for 3 days or you don't have food for 3 weeks, and then suddenly you get the water or you get the food, water's a little bit on the better side, it's still not going to completely recharge you. The water will do better, but you're already in such a bad state that drinking some water or eating some food, you may start barfing it back up. And it may not be as simple as just, okay, I've got a meal, let's restart the clock again. You're not, if you basically, to answer your question, if you go 3 days without water and then drink like a liter of water, you don't have another 3 days.
Yeah.
You may have a day. You have to continuously replenish the water. If you go 3 weeks without food and then you eat 1 day, you could probably go another week, I think, after that. But again, your energy levels in both cases are going to be so shot, you're going to be practically speaking good for nothing.
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
All right, what else? What else you got, Amy? What else?
Did you see the recent info of what's being hidden in Antarctica?
Have I seen the recent info about what's being hidden in Antarctica? I've studied extensively the things that supposedly are happening in Antarctica. However, I find that either A, you go with the side of the government saying that's all just complete research down there, or you side with, I'm going to say the words conspiracy channels, and just the opposite. They will tell you that everything from UFOs to energy weapons and everything else is down there too. I find it's very difficult to know exactly what truly is there and what's not, because a lot of it, unfortunately, is hyperbole. But specifically, if you know something that's there that I don't, then please let me know.
What do you suggest doing with all the empty metal cans after we break into them when shit hits the fan?
Yeah, so crap hits the fan, you're going to start developing a giant stockpile of cans and lots of other waste too, mind you. Some of the waste you can actually use for other stuff like even burning and such, but obviously the cans are not. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to find a place to put them, and your best place to put them, if you're able to, is bury them. Yeah. That is really your best bet. One, it'll keep the smells and possible, rotten out of the area, because you don't want to actually start having disease and flies and everything else. Not to mention attracting other people thinking you actually have some cans. So if you can find a way to bury them, at least have that. That's your best bet.
Or throw them in your neighbor's yard.
Well, it's funny you say that, because if I was thinking if let's say you're in an apartment building for a month and crap hits the fan, you don't have any place to bury it in an apartment building. So what you do is you try to throw it on your neighbor's balcony or something.
Or you guys could totally drill through them and make the cans to make noise.
Put a string between them?
No, not a telephone.
Yeah, that's right. You toss it to your neighbor. How are you down there?
No, booby
What'd
traps,
you say?
like trip lines of of noise making if there's somebody intruding things. You could do stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
true.
And then if you get married too, you can tie it behind your car, your bicycle.
It's an apocalypse can thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that is true, because when we would camp in the Rockies, you a lot of times don't even have a tent because you don't know what's going to wander in your campground. But using the cans and string to basically let you know that there's something out there, like bear, for example, is what we used to do.
Yeah. So if you have 40 acres, you're going to need a lot of cans.
Wait. Tomorrow's someone's birthday. They're turning 63.
Ooh.
Really?
It's
Happy
Jamie.
birthday.
Happy
That's
birthday,
awesome.
Jamie.
Happy birthday.
63.
All right, let's see. I see another super chat, Naomi. I'm not sure where you're at.
I have a few questions, but they're before the super chat.
Let's do the questions real quick, then we'll do the chips.
There's 6 of them.
That's okay. We'll go
Okay.
ahead.
Let's go through them.
I'll take that out. Actually, maybe Dad. The float in my toilet is sticking. Do you have an idea to fix it? They said it's a random question.
That is a random question. Yeah, if your float is sticking in your toilet, the last thing you want to do is go buy another float system.
Toilet.
I'm all about. Now, here's the thing. Those floats, if it's not the float itself that's probably sticking, but probably the plug or something's connected to the chain. That little thin bar that holds the float bends really nicely.
It does.
It's actually made, by the way, so you can screw it in or unscrew it to change the buoyancy of the float.
Yep.
But literally just bending the bar and finagling with it might be your best bet. So we'll wait while you go check
Maybe you
out.
need a new clip or something too. That
Yeah.
tends to.
All right, what else we got?
How long would fruit and veggies in glass jars from the market last compared to canned goods? Wait,
Fruits and
Glass jars from
Hold
the
on.
market.
we can get them from the market in glass jars?
Maybe like a
Oh, yeah,
farmer's
like-
Or are you
market?
saying
hold
put them in jars?
on. Are you saying like, does it say jellies?
No.
It says fruit and veggies. So is
Oh.
it saying that versus the can versus putting it in the jar yourself?
Okay, so all right, so basically the question is along the lines of how long will store-bought canned food last compared to, like, for example, glass jars, maybe either canning yourself or in the grocery store. All three of those, grocery store glass jars, grocery store metal cans, and you canning them at home, providing you do it correctly, will all last the same. Now, especially veggies, they put a little bit of salt in there, which honestly is, we're not going to get into the discussion that people think salt's bad for you. Salt is essential for you. You have to have electrolytes. And having like a can of corn or peas or something will last 40 years. It'll last practically forever as long as the can's intact. That's
I
a
have
metal
pea
can.
soup, but
Yeah. Hold on a second. And then, however, if you have like canned fruit or anything acidic, it will start tasting metallic-y. But the metallic-y taste does not change the nutrition level per se. It just tastes kind of gross. And that's what you have to deal with. If you have it in the glass jars, it's just fine. It will not have that metallic-y taste. But here's a warning to you. The new canning lids say they're only guaranteed up to 18 months now, even though they used to be,
like 5 years. Yeah.
no, they used to be like 30, 40 years. They never had a time limit before. But now suddenly they're like, oh, look, they're 18 months. So either they changed the formula so they will not last as long, or now the companies are simply saying it's only guaranteed for 18 months.
Maybe somebody's gotten sick or something because they didn't can right.
Right.
I know I went down the other day, and apparently one of my glass canning jars had fallen off the shelf. One of the kids did, and then they just picked it up and put it back on there, and they didn't tell me it broke open. It was a jelly jar. And
Really?
It was all moldy and rotten, and it was like,
gross.
oh, what is wrong with that? But
We don't have canned stuff in the basement, Ashley. We don't stockpile down there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I made jelly the other day.
What
I had
basement?
extra strawberries.
We don't even have a basement.
Yeah, what's up with that? We live in a trailer. That's the biggest thing. That's the thing that breaks my heart. People are like, I live in a trailer. I don't have any basement to store stuff.
Yeah.
I know some people who have mobile homes or trailers, and there's usually skirting, and they actually put stuff underneath in the skirting.
Yeah,
area.
they can do that. Yeah.
Kim Clucker's birthday is next Saturday. Also turning 63.
Happy early birthday, Kim's Cluckers.
That's awesome. Happy birthday.
All right, so I do have a super chat on here. I'll go ahead and put that up there. Don't leave Austin waiting. That's the motto of my story. Austin Ford, 1999. Thank you, Austin. He said, half joking, but any advice for dating after crap hits the fan? It's a straight up wasteland out there.
That's
Your
for sure.
first suggestion is after crap hits the fan for dating is you must find a way to still bathe. Because you will never get anybody if you're stinking like you live in crap hits the fan. And I don't mean like true crap on the fan. Obviously, hygiene is the key. But then
Stockpile baby wipes. They're
You're
essential.
right.
and then secondly, you want to be looking for somebody who knows how to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So like, in comedy shows, they always show like one woman who's like more manly than the guys, can always beat everybody's butt. That's the one you want. That's the person who basically side by
Probably,
side,
yeah.
you guys can,
Kick butt.
yeah, that's it. But thank you for the super chat. That was nice. It was a nice refresher.
You don't want somebody who's upset because they don't have the right purse to match their
Yeah.
camo pants.
What's the coach? Is it Coach purse
Yeah.
that people always want?
Well, there's
There's
a
got to
lot
be
of
some
them.
kind of joke there.
I have no idea.
A Coach bag. That's what it
Coach
is.
bag,
Coach bag,
yeah.
yeah. It's a Gucci.
Wait, is that our only advice? Is smell nice?
No.
Oh, no, and find a partner who knows how to kick butt like you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that part. Yeah. Like, wait, what? Okay. I started the carnivore diet. Should I go keto instead?
That's a great question. I think it's up to you. They both work well. If you like the carnivore and what it does, just stay on the carnivore for a while and see how it goes. Excuse me. I have not coughed all day.
Yeah. We
And
were
of course,
just
now I'm
talking
here
about that.
and I'm doing great. And now I start coughing. And I would actually see how well that works. And if you're starting hitting a snag or it doesn't fit you, then possibly shift over to keto. Personally, I like keto, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Carnivore has its own benefits.
It does.
Could Eagle Pass be a setup like J6?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Could Eagles Pass be a setup? I believe it is a setup. I came out with a couple videos this week. I did a live stream on Goshen News. I did a live stream on Goshen Prepping about this. The biggest problem is this. When you look at the size of the border, I mean, honestly, we could probably look it up. How long is the border, just even along Texas, not even talking about including Arizona, New Mexico, et cetera. The border is huge. But yet, it's only 2.5 miles of the border, they're stopping. And this is causing this big fiasco. Personally, I think it's a trap. Is that how he says it in Star Wars? It's a trap. I think it's all about trying to fish people out and causing the next big fiasco. Not necessarily civil war, even though that's the title of this video. It very well may be. Now, I've had a lot of Texans talk with me recently on how they have a distrust for Abbott. And if you didn't know it, Abbott went to, I don't know if it was the last one, one of the recent WEF conferences. He was invited there. Think about that. Because, you'll have people who have never even been considered to run for president go to WEF, and next thing you know, they run for president and they win. Think about that. So this very well may be just simply their catalyst for causing major problems in the country. And that's why I said, guys, be extremely careful and cautious about this whole thing. And it literally may be just what they're trying to basically hedge up for causing problems. Because think about this. If this does lead to some type of civil war, that is playing right into the handbook of adversaries when it comes to military. If a country implodes a civil war, it makes them very susceptible for invasion.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's very true.
I'm trying to copy these comments over.
You okay there, Naomi?
Yeah, she's spazzing up over
I'm
here.
trying to copy, every time I try to copy a comment over to my document, they comment again and it comments half the section. All right.
I see one here. Where's the best place to hide my 5-gallon buckets of prepped food? Do you have that one, Naomi?
Is that recent?
No.
Wait, no.
Okay. Best place to hide 5-gallon buckets. Simply put, the best place by far is bury them. Now, are you ready for some insider information? I don't usually tell people this, but I feel I need to tell you this. You need to bury them, but not where you live. Okay? Think about this. The government knows what you have. They know you watch this controversial channel where we have to make our own play buttons called Goshen Prepping. They know that you have this food, and if you start burying it, they know they're going to be looking on your property for burying it. So it's always been a strategy when it comes to intelligence is you bury it somewhere else. Neighbor's property, perhaps. A neighbor's property that's not a prepper. Let's say you go for a walk a half mile down your road and it turns into a park, and the park has a little bit of forest behind. Excellent place. Because I want you to understand that, of course, we have ground penetrating radar, but I know this for a fact, guys. There's a satellite that we have can actually see into the ground a certain distance as well. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm. I did.
And so if they suspect you have some food and have that food hidden, the first place they're going to look is your property. But they can only look so far. You need to bury it. Bury some on your property, by the way. Do it. Because then they'll say, ha, I told you had some buried in your property and you had 5 buckets. Whereas you actually have 300 buckets buried down the street at a park or something like that. Now, officially, I cannot tell you to break the law. Do not trespass their neighbor's property and dig up their begonias. Don't do that kind of thing. Don't go to a park and dig things up. I'm officially telling you not to do that.
That might look a little suspicious.
Wink.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Don't jaywalk. Okay. I think the border crisis is a replay of Jan 6. Also, what is a suicide drone?
All right, so somebody said they believe that this border crisis is going to be a replay of Jan 6. I have to be careful even saying that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's such a hot topic right now. What was the second thing, Yemi?
What's
suicide
drone?
Yeah, suicide drone.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure specifically suicide drones, but I know that they have the drones that have explosives on them. And if that's what you're talking, I guess that would be the same thing, the suicide drones. Yeah, so there are drones, not even just ours, but countries around the world have the drones now where the drones themselves don't drop any type of weaponry, but actually has the weaponry on board, and it literally hits what it needs to explode.
Someone wants to know, what is WEF?
Okay, great question. What's WEF? World Economic Forum. So Herr Klaus Schwab, his education's pretty impressive. I forgot where he went to for school, but his father was a Nazi, by the way. And he started, I believe it was in the 70s, I can't remember the original name of the place, but a organization to basically bring businesses together where it's a new type of system that's not a republic or democracy and it's not free market. But basically, all of everything done as far as the companies go, they have a responsibility for the world. So if you own a major corporation like Walmart, for example, well, you're in this position owning Walmart where it's not simply just about you and your mega yacht you like to float on and your mega jet that puts out lots of pollution. No, you need to actually do it, basically join together as the elite for the world. And when we talk about the elites, that is the World Economic Forum. So over time, it caught fire, by the way. The major CEOs of the biggest corporations and political leaders of the world have joined onto the World Economic Forum like you wouldn't believe, super fast. Great example is Abbott from Texas. The World Economic Forum is supposed to be that. It's about economic. It's not. Don't get it confused with Bilderberg's, which is basically the elites as well. Bilderberg's is leaning more toward politics. WEF is more toward finances and corporations. But again, it doesn't matter. You see a lot of the same players going to both of those. And it doesn't matter which one you go to. When they go, sometimes they allow filming and talking outside. Sometimes they don't. Bilderberg is far more strict. If you go there, then it's 100% you cannot divulge what they talked about at all inside of there. But that's the World Economic Forum under Klaus Schwab. And they literally they're the ones that set precedents that people should be eating bugs. They should be eating lab-grown meat. That greenhouse gases are killing the world, that everything should be electric, that population needs to be basically curtailed, that everything as far as cars should be electric. You should not own anything. You shouldn't own your own house. You shouldn't own your own car. I know, seriously. And you'll be happy, though, because you'll have all the stuff you want. You don't have to worry about ownership. Leave that to the elites, who are basically the rich cream of the crop who will take care of everything, and you'll simply just lease everything your entire life is what they're shooting for. That's a great question. What else you got?
Someone says daughter resembles dad. Which daughter?
Yeah.
I don't know the name.
That's okay. Don't worry about name if you don't have one.
Well, it's the point of the question. Maybe you know. Yeah, let me make it really big and then you can see. Here. You're done.
Xi Jinping has lost a lot of weight and drinks heavily. Do you believe the rumor that he has pancreatic cancer? If so, the repercussions. I don't know. I don't like jumping into rumors, especially with Xi Jinping. I wonder myself if he actually is having some type of health issues. But on that same note, the way he thinks going over there, I don't like giving into rumors that he has some type of pancreatic cancer. But even having drinking doesn't often lead to pancreatic cancer. That's a whole different beast. But I guess if it is pancreatic cancer, we'll know soon enough because it is one of the highest mortality rate cancers there is. So
Who knows?
I don't know. I personally don't like jumping into rumors like that. When I hear rumors, unless I see a substantiation, I usually run the other way. Because people love to discuss rumors about things without any type of reasoning behind it. And I think, unfortunately, it just makes it more difficult on the rest of us because then we look like fools when it turns out that's not the case. So that's just my own personal thing. All right. Yeah, so people are talking about the 700,000 semis heading to the Texas border. I apologize, not the Texas border, but to the border overall. 700,000 semis. 700,000. Can you grasp how many that is?
That's a lot of people.
And I mentioned on our Goshen News channel, I was thinking about this, that they've done their best in numerous types of causes to try to get 1 million people to line up on the...
border.
No, to line up in Washington, D.C., in front of the monument and such, between the Lincoln Memorial, and they'll always call it a 1 million man march for whatever, fill in the blank. And they'd always only get like 700,000 people. It's really difficult to get 100,000, but understand, if they have 700,000 semis going there, many of those are going to be having 2 people in them, or not, if not more, possibly. And easily could have a 1 million man truck going down to this border. It's huge. But the biggest thing is, guys, I really am afraid that this could turn into a civil war situation. And again, once you now have a war on our own soil, it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, obviously, look at the Civil War that happened, how many years ago was it now? 150 years? 160
Civil War?
years? Yeah.
It happened in the 1850s.
Yeah. It's what, 100 and...
I'm not here for math.
It was over 100 years ago. It was a while ago. It was before my time.
Oh my goodness.
We have 2 questions about a subject, so I'm going to do them together. Did you hear about the 3 soldiers killed in Jordan? And then it was in a drone strike. Do you have any info, please?
That's great. Okay, so the question was, did I hear about the 3 soldiers killed in Jordan? Was it drone strike? I have not. I've been busy getting things done today. I have not had a chance to go through the news to see what's happening there, but I'll certainly research it. But I do know that we're looking at even more of our forces under attack in the Middle East. And this whole thing going on with Israel against Hamas and the Houthi and in Lebanon, Hezbollah, are obviously drastically increasing the attacks on our soldiers over there. But I'll definitely research that one for you. Maybe I'll make that tomorrow's Goshen news video if I find something.
Thank you.
Storm Chasing Gal. I've never seen Abbott in any WF pics. On the live stream on Goshen News, somebody told me that he actually went to WF, and I looked it up, and I did. So I found pictures of him at WEF. So just FYI, I did find that on there. Because I'm the biggest thing, I don't like trying to put out any information that I haven't tried to corroborate. And if I do, I'll say, hey guys, I haven't corroborated this, but I actually did find an article and some pictures of him at WEF. Which, again, somebody told me that, and I was skeptical. I was like, really? And sure enough, I found pictures of him there.
Okay. My question's a bit heavier. If preppers were viewed as enemy of the states, as had stated in a recent video, does that make us immediately vulnerable to be viewed as a criminal?
Okay, so I've made a few videos, by the way, and the question goes along the lines of that as preppers, we are going to be the first ones as enemies of the state. And so does that automatically put us in the category of being vulnerable? The answer to that is absolutely yes, without a doubt. And I think that if it comes down to there's something major that happens in the United States, and obviously it could very well go along the lines of a world war, the government will be looking for people who are going against their system of whatever's basically making this war work. I'll just hypothetically say it. Let's say that, sure enough, there are people in the United States who came across the border and they start setting off a coordinated attacks next month. Now, if this happens, by the way, I'm not some kind of weird prophet. Just FYI. I'm a normal prophet. And if this happens, and you are one of the ones that basically is very outspoken saying that, hey guys, I think that this whole thing has been orchestrated by our government and such. If we're actually in a major war situation, this is not World War II where it's simply just a neighbor turning people in, which they did. You are already on Goshen Prepping. And I'm sure there's other channels you're on, possibly even more into conspiracy theory. Of course, I don't like using that term, but you know what I mean. And if that happens, you're automatically flagged. You can literally have a 201 file against you. Think about that. You may literally have it so the government already has you on some type of monitoring system because it's already been put out in the last few months that even people who were going for Trump, for example, or any people who list themselves as MAGA are automatically listed as being extremist. Mm-hmm. And this is not a political debate at all. This is not about for Trump or against Trump. I'm simply stating the facts that the government has already put forth things saying that people in this long of lines are already listed as being extremist. And when it comes to preppers, you can't get much more extreme than us trying to survive without the government's help. So yes, without a doubt, you are already flagged more than likely.
You already answered a question about hiding food, right?
I've talked about it. I talked about it a little bit tonight, yeah.
No, we're talking about I think that was the correct one.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, somebody asked why isn't the microphone in the center toward Naomi? Because if it did, it's going to be right in front of Ashley's face.
Yeah.
And since I'm the one that's actually answering the questions per se, I try to repeat what she said.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry we don't have a microphone over there. We just don't.
She doesn't like to be on talking anyway. So.
You almost said on camera.
Well, yeah. We did get a super chat.
I got two of them. So I see another super chat from Austin Ford for $9.99. Thank you very much. On a serious note, have you all heard about Senor Putin claiming the sale of Alaska was invalid? Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's an interesting.
Yeah, so Putin put out, as he's basically trying to reestablish the USSR in its glory days, is trying to find anything that belonged to the USSR during that time and trying to reclaim it again. He's trying to bring it back in. And along those same lines, of course, him and his people came out and said, oh, by the way, the sale of Alaska was completely invalid. And it was illegal, they said. And it's not true at all, first off. Russia was going through a depression. The United States was thriving. And he sold Alaska to the United States for, I believe, if I'm right, $7.5 million. That's it. That's a good price on a big chunk of real estate, mind you. And, of course, for Russia, it's probably just a lot of hyperbole and a lot of empty threats when it comes to this. But I implore you to go back to our Goshen News video and talked about how it's a very good chance. And look at the thumbnail on Goshen News, by the way. You'll see a picture with a target on Alaska. It may not be hyperbole if World War III, Russia against NATO kicks in. So keep that in mind.
We have a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Amy. You're good.
We have a question referring back to the another one, but I love the name. I love noodles.
I love it.
How do we figure if we're labeled as extreme preppers?
How do you know if you're labeled? You'll never know.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think they're gonna like come out and say, oh, if you've done this, you do it. I think it's automatically if you prep, you're extreme.
All right. Let me give you an idea of how the United States intelligence works. And don't ask me how I know these things. That's all I ask. If you are labeled as any person who possibly might be against the government, you are called what's a Section 201. You have what's called a 201 file on you, where they basically may simply collect data, metadata, and look to see who you are and what's going on. And if they find that this literally could be an extremist section, then you're actually put into what's called a status of Section C. I guarantee there's people on this channel right now who are Section C. But they don't tell you who's 201. They don't tell you who's Section C. That is only something kept in the intelligence bureaus of the United States. But you'll never know unless, I'm about to say if you want to find your phone's tapped. Back in the day, you could find out if your phone was tapped pretty easy. Nowadays, not at all.
Somebody asked if we raise our own beef, and we do not.
Oh, no, that'd be great.
That would be great.
We have so considered it numerous times.
No, I don't.
What's difficult about our homestead is we have all of our land is right on the bottom of a big hill, which is fine. I have a Jeep that I take out to collect wood and such. And for us to be able to get through a long winter with a good old moo-moo in the backyard, out in our property, you have to have so many of those giant 1-ton bales of hay. And we calculated we could financially do it if we wanted to, and we thought about buying the stuff to make it happen. But my tractor, affectionately we call Rusty for a reason, is not able to take those giant bales out there. The whole bale in my tractor would probably roll down the hill. Yeah. So that's the only thing that's really stopped us.
We don't have pasture for our property, so we have to feed them.
Well, even if we did have pasture, in the wintertime, it's underneath snow, you can't feed them. That's it. During the summer, we could feed let them pasture, but in the wintertime...
So no, we do not.
There was a second super chat.
Okay, there's not a second super chat?
Yes.
Super chat? I see a question real quick from Sherry. Hello, Sherry. Idea for keeping insulin cold without a generator. Sure, there's a couple things you can do. First off, you can get a solar generator and a chest freezer. I always recommend a chest freezer, by the way, because they're much more efficient than stand-up freezers. Or you can get for example, we have one from a company called New Air, but these companies will take what looks like a cooler because of the insulation, but actually has a refrigerator freezer built in there. And we have one that's solar powered and batteries and will run indefinitely without ever being plugged in. They're kind of pricey.
They are.
I think ours was $800, but literally on ours it has 2 compartments. And on the computer on the front, I can make one compartment a fridge, another one a freezer, or switch it, make this the fridge, this the freezer, or make both of them fridges or both of them freezers. And literally completely solar powered and will run indefinitely. I remember when I actually modeled this thing, I even said this is the perfect thing for insulin. What's going on, loudmouth baby?
Mad.
What's going on, baby? Give me that. All right, I hope that answered your question. Oh, then you said we have a super chat?
Yeah, let's find that super chat first.
Yeah, and Steve says Greg Abbott cares about Texas. Honestly, that's the impression I have too. But, I always make sure I look at both sides of the situation. That's all I'm talking about with the WEF. Yeah, and then somebody said, why in the world is he in India? That's a good question. Why is he in India? It's a governor of a state. I don't know.
I'm out.
I'm out of here.
I'm out.
We're talking about Greg Abbott. I am gone.
I'm out.
Nice vacation spot.
From Prima, will DT go to prison? I don't
Taking
know.
all my questions.
I don't know. That's
Oh,
a
I
great.
like Super Chat.
That's an absolute thought I have all the time. I don't know. I wish I had an answer
Well,
for you.
how long have they been trying to make him go to prison now?
A while.
Yeah, so.
All right. So next super chat from AU. AU. I love your comments, AU. For $5. I recently found some things about Camp Grayling. Oh yeah, they were trying to double its size in Michigan. Also, some odd things happened there. Thoughts? I've been to Grayling a few times. I do know them trying to make it bigger. I didn't realize it was going to be double the size. And I will tell you, even though I have base privileges, I can go on the bases whenever I want to. The last time I tried to go on Grayling, I'll tell you, the guard was like, "Why are you here?" And I said, "Because I'm coming on base." And they can't, honestly, I have a DOD and everything. And he was like, "Okay." But he was very reluctant for letting me come on base. I'm like, I go to bases all over the place and I've never had problems. I'm usually just scan it and say, "Thank you, sir," and let me go. But he was very reluctant for having me come on that base. And there's a lot of, obviously, I almost said shelling, but, drills and exercises that take place. And they have some really nice simulators there too, by the way. But the whole thing does have, in my opinion, a little bit of a shroud of mystery, just a little bit. A lot of people I've talked on the base are super nice and everybody gets along really well and such. And their mission statement's pretty cool. And again, some of the equipment I've checked out there is really neat, but there's just a little bit of, I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. And maybe, hey, that's actually one of the things that kind of like maybe makes me think about this for a little bit. I don't know. I'll have to research a little bit more, but you know how it is with military. Good luck trying to find some answers for that. I could probably put this in the middle of this now.
Everyone has been asking this one. Well, someone asked a question, and everyone really wants it answered.
Okay,
so
we got a question that everyone wants the answer to.
Skip down the list. Okay, I haven't seen a lot of people talking about what will happen to people who are
Incarcerated.
Thank you. During a collapse. Can you touch on that subject?
Oh, like people who are in prison now? If you're talking about, people who are incarcerated in prison right now, and there's a total collapse, they may not, and the key word may not, depends on the severity of the collapse. There's an excellent chance the majority will be released. Okay, we saw the same thing in the pandemic because it's as simple as this, everybody. It depends on the severity of the collapse. If the collapse is big enough where literally the government cannot pay people to stay at their positions, like guard positions at a prison, not to mention the prisons are going to drastically be increasing in population because as the government collapses, there is more crime, period. And so they will literally change it so only the harshest people will possibly be incarcerated there. And anybody below that, they'll basically just get a slap on the wrist and probably not at all. We've been seeing that the last few years anyway, for the fact that there's been people who literally, they have chose to not even try to prosecute at all, but just let them right back out in the streets again and mark in their record that, they were arrested for such and such. So incarceration, if you live near a prison, especially if it's like a major prison, and by the way, guys, they don't give them a free Uber ride wherever they want to go. They need to actually try to get some transportation on themselves. If not, have a good walk. They very well maybe a large amount of people walking out those gates looking for whatever they can get their hands on. Keep that in mind. Oh yeah, incarceration is a huge thing, and we're certainly going to see prisoners being released.
Did that answer your question, everyone? I hope that was it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a link for the solar cooler?
I don't. That solar cooler, unfortunately, they don't sell it anymore. Oh. Which, as we're talking, I'll look it up. I don't think it's for sale anymore. But you got another question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I can answer ask you some easy ones. Do you think vacuum sealing rice in bags is good?
Oh yeah. If you want to vacuum seal rice in bags, 100%. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Oh, they do have it for sale still. I'll send you a link for it. That's weird. I had my video up there for the longest time, but they stopped selling it, so I took my link. We may have lost connection for a second. If I'm there, then I want you to write the word sassafras.
How do you spell that?
I don't know, but it's fun to do that. Okay, there we go.
Try your best.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
There we go. All right. Anyways, right in the middle of all the sassafrases is, I put the link there for the solar fridge. This thing is fantastic, guys. When I was asked to take a look at it and model it, I was skeptical. I'll be honest with you. But it's because here's the thing. I've had some of those little refrigerators in the past where you plug them in your cigarette lighter in your car and they do nothing. They barely keep anything cold. This is a true refrigerator freezer. And if that's back up again, guys, and my video's not up, which I don't think it is, let me look for that now, then I'm actually happy to repost it back up there again because this is one of those products. I only really put products I believe in anyway.
I think I can answer this one.
Okay,
when
what you
you're
got,
done.
Naomi?
Someone said, can we do a pantry tour? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, that's a good answer, Naomi. No.
No.
For me,
Nice try. No kidding.
when I considered for years making a channel about prepping and preparedness. No, it's not up. I don't have the video up anymore. I'll see about getting the video back up again. Now it looks like it's back. Okay, all right. But the reason I actually pondered it for months before I actually made anything about prepping was because I have to worry about OPSEC for my house, operational security. I got to make sure people don't know what I have, etc. And it dawned on me that, oh, wait, I can show what I want to show and not talk about things without showing our stash and things like that. And so with that, I simply, I'll never show our pantry.
Great.
I'll never show you certain things that I have. And honestly, it's really crazy. There's another channel. I won't give them their name because I don't want to sound like I'm bad mouthing them because I'm certainly not. But there's another channel. When I talked with him, he was all about operational security. Operational security. I want to make sure I don't put out things that people will know what I have. As he stands often dressed in full uniform, which I call it a costume, by the way, when they do this. His full uniform costume, holding all his weapons and stuff in front of like rows and rows of food and stuff. And I said, but you're worried about operational security, but you show this stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, talk to Naomi. One of her favorite things in the world is finding people.
I'm very good at it.
Very, very good at it. And so we used to, back in the day when we used to just be YouTube watchers ourselves before we actually became a channel, it was a very fun thing we would do and who could actually find the people first.
Let me give you a hint. It's very easy to find someone.
It's very easy.
Yeah. It's actually harder to find the celebrities than actually regular people. It's really easy.
Yeah, it's scary.
Thank
Let's see.
you.
I saw something about freezing insulin pens. No, you can't freeze them, unfortunately. They have to. It's one of those things. They have to be refrigerated. What
Someone's
else?
digging my Scooby-Doo shirt.
You have a Scooby-Doo shirt on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love Scooby-Doo.
Very nice. Let's see.
Yeah, I have a whole thing of questions.
Do you have?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, hey, Mehalani. How are you, Mehalani? I haven't seen you in a while. What's your thoughts on communications blackout? I have a lot of thoughts on communication blackout, Mehalani. And that's actually one of the things, too. There are, again, I always want to say things because people make me laugh. I have talked with numerous times a militia up here in Michigan. And they talked with me about joining. And I'm like, that's just not me. I love the stuff they do, and I love going out with the guys and doing all those things. But I'm the kind of person I'd rather work alone with my group and my family than with following orders from some guy that I don't know who that is. But anyways, that was my question too. I was like, what are you going to do as far as communications if we talk about crap hitting the fan? They're like, oh, we got it covered. We have a phone tree. I'm like, are you kidding? You're kidding, right? But they were totally serious. That it was all about calling each other on cell phones in case they need each other. You really think your cell phones are going to be working in a big scenario like that? Because I want you to understand that not only will the cell phones be working, but there's a good chance your walkie-talkie CBs or even ham radios won't work either. Our military has the ability to jam these systems so they don't work. Flat out. End of story, period. And that's something you very seriously need to consider. Now, what I always recommend if you can do this is for your group, you need to have safe words. You need to have some type of way of signaling each other. My favorite story is during one of the best spies during George Washington's time was a lady who lived on the coast, and she would put her laundry out on the coast on a laundry line, which could be seen by the ocean. And everybody thought, oh, cool, she has her laundry out. No, every time she put them in order, it was actually intelligence signaling exactly what was happening. you can turn simple things into things like that. For example, as the forces landed in Normandy, they had the little clickers, just to make sure that it wasn't an enemy nearby. If they heard a noise, they would click, and if the other person didn't click, get ready because you're going to have to take that person out. And then they would say clap, and they would say thunder. You guys familiar with this story? Clap and thunder?
Yeah, like barely.
So also, if they heard somebody coming, they would say clap, and the other person would respond with thunder. That was the code word. And why'd they choose thunder?
I don't know.
Because in German, they don't have the th sound. And they would respond with thunder instead of thunder. It was very difficult for them to say thunder because they don't have that sound. So having things like that, and even safe words that you can actually use in a regular conversation. No, I'm sorry, officer. We don't have any food inside. In fact, we just gave up our last pineapple yesterday, and maybe pineapple is your safe word, to let you know that there's officers nearby, for example. So you need to try to come up with some kind of communication on your own. But having a communication blackout is a very real probability depending on what happens with crap hits the fan. Is it a government-controlled crap hits the fan? Goodbye communications. And goodbye GPS too, by the way. Because your GPS that your car runs on, your phone runs on, everything, that's a military system. It's a military satellite system. In the military, we had what were called pluggers. And the pluggers were classified technology that you had to sign out because it wasn't for civilian use, but actually could give you a pinpoint accuracy wherever you were at. Obviously, it wasn't simply just making little connections and saying, oh, look, here I am. Obviously, it was for detonations and such. Think of it that way. But that's what we used. But the military changes the times on the satellites purposely so that way your car cannot get a pinpoint accuracy, nor can your phone. But the government has it. The military has it. And they have the ability to shut it off for you completely if they need to. Could you imagine your car and your phone no longer having GPS work at all because the military shut it off for you? But through the plugger, since it's encrypted, will still keep working. So the military will have GPS, but the rest of the country won't. Do you guys know that?
I did.
Probably because I told you before.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Sorry, I was answering a bunch of Scooby-Doo questions. We did get a super chat from Marvin Jacobs with the little pair.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, I might scroll down. So I just saw somebody said, oh my gosh, I remember the plugger. That thing was awesome. Plugger, I would love to have one of those, but yeah, you still can't. Yeah, thunderclap.
Thunderclap.
All right, yeah, so for Mario, there it is. So that's a super sticker.
Super sticker.
Did I tell you this? So this is irony for you. If you didn't hear this before, I am on the crap list for YouTube. They wouldn't give me a play button, so my son made this one for me using his 3D printer. And but yet they out of the blue emailed me and said, hey, would you like to have a personal YouTube representative chat with you about your channel and how to make your channel better? I'm like, me? And they're like, sure, why not? And so they actually have a person to work with me for 6 months to see what I can do to make the channel better. How about you give me my play button first?
Yeah.
In fact, that's going to be my next question for her, by the way. Where's my play button? Where's my stinking play button?
I'd ask that.
Actually, at this point, I don't want it now because it's kind of funny.
No, you gotta say, when's it gonna be in the mail? I heard, you get one at this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it lost?
But anyways, I didn't realize there was a difference between a super chat and a super sticker. A super chat has chat words on there. A super sticker shows like a pair going. Mm-hmm. So thanks for the super sticker, Marvin. I appreciate that.
Super
I always thought it was
serious
the same.
question. Okay, super serious. Can you talk like Scooby-Doo?
Yes?
Not me.
That's the answer. Yes, I can.
Sometimes I can do the laugh, but
Come on, Mimi.
it's gonna sound like a horse.
He does kind of sound like a horse.
It was like
Crikey!
the live action.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Someone
my
said I look
gosh.
like Velma.
My face feels like it's getting red now.
I have been told I look like Velma a lot, so it's okay.
Yeah, if you cut your hair here.
Actually, I'm getting it cut.
Oh, you should get that
tomorrow.
sweater.
I have that sweater.
Oh, do you? You should wear it one night. That's what you should do is actually wear it without this and see if people think you look like Velma.
I'll do that next live stream if I'm here. And I'm going to get my hair cut tomorrow, so.
I think we have like the wig so I can look like Fred.
Do you?
I think so.
Why do you have that wig?
I don't know.
You have an ascot?
Have you guys seen the live action Scooby-Doo movies?
They're so funny.
I mean, they're for the kids, but they're really...
Are they for the kids, though?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But it's funny because we met... oh my gosh, I forgot his name.
Well, we saw...
The guy who plays Fred
Yeah.
in those movies.
Freddie Prinze... No.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
And I mean, super nice guy. And he was actually more like interested in saying hi to our kids than it was like me, which is fine. But, you know, in the movie, he talked like the jock, like, dude, come on. And in real life, he talked the same way. I was like, oh, I thought he was just acting. That's exactly how he talks. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. Okay. We have a long list of questions.
My safe word is space goat.
Space goat.
Have I told you I love you guys? I love the live streams. They're so funny.
Someone said they want to heart the comments in the live stream because it's amazing. Okay. You want to speed read these questions?
All right. Next question. Ready?
We're backed up. Are you using the freeze dryer more?
No. Very soon coming to our basement near you. I have been, for the past couple months, installing a furnace. Which, it's weird. It's so weird having heat besides our wood stove. We've had our wood stove for years, and that's the only source of heat for our house.
Aww.
Which, you know, we go through 20 cords of wood a year, and this year I was like, I'm going to put that furnace in I bought years ago and finally install it. And so we basically came up with a day, and I was like, all right, guys, we're going to get the furnace done. And so we got it going, up and running, and it's been having a couple of troubles, being brand new. It's brand new, though.
Yeah.
And I just realized I forgot to put a part into it, which I just ordered it. So we had to shut it down for like the next week or so. But anyway, nevertheless, regardless, the spot is now open next to our furnace, which is completed, to put the freeze dryer. I'm so excited about this. So we're going to be installing the freeze dryer very, very shortly and start using it again. In fact, I have every intention of making videos now of just trying out some new things in our freeze dryer, which when we had it up and running up on this floor here, it's not like super loud, but it's definitely loud, too loud for a live stream and making videos and stuff. But the basement's a perfect place for it. So I will be making some freeze dry videos soon.
One person said we're frozen.
We're frozen? Huh. I don't know. People keep talking. Oh, Storm Chasing Gal. Maybe she's talking about the movie. Maybe she just enjoys Elsa. Guys, if we're here and you can hear us, then I want you to say the word Elsa.
Elsa? Which kind? The Jewish or the...
I don't know.
I'm going to mess with you.
What Elsa would be?
Oh, someone said no frozen. That's not the word. Someone said my new nickname is Velma. And then someone said I'm too cute to look like Velma because she's not the pretty one. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Freddie Prinze Jr. about Sarah Michelle Gellar, but I thought it'd be like really awkward. Like, let's talk about your wife, dude. I mean, I just...
Wait, what? Is he married?
Yeah, to Daphne.
Really?
Yeah, in real life they're married.
That is so cute.
Yeah. He was super nice, and he wasn't there with his family, but he was talking to me and my kids. But his kids were like the same age, and he was like, "Hey guys, you like this kind of stuff, kids?" And I was like, "It's so funny you talk that way," because I never pictured him talking that way before.
Mm-hmm. The guy who played Shaggy was there too, but his line was
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, his line was way too long, so I was just like looking at him. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Who is that guy behind you? Oh, that's Bob.
Bob's mad right now.
Yeah, so we, our entire family, we practice martial arts. All of us do. I have a couple little babies, and they do not practice martial arts. But besides the babies, we all do.
Oh, what martial arts? Someone asked.
All right, so our main school that we teach at, the primary focus is Taekwondo. But we also do Krav Maga. That's my specialty. I'm a certified Krav Maga teacher. Plus, we also mix in some mixed martial arts, some MMA, a little bit of boxing techniques, real-world experience techniques of taking knives out of people's hands and guns out of their hands and such. That's basically the main premise. But the majority of it, Freddie Prinze Jr. was a writer for WWE, Alex?
Yeah, they said he was his dad was Puerto Rican and was in Chico and the Gang.
He was?
Yeah, that's
Chico and the Gang. That brings back memories. All right. Anyway, yeah, so our main focus is Taekwondo because, honestly, I think part of it, too, is simply just getting yourself more limber and flexible in shape and stuff. But how we differ from a regular Taekwondo school is we teach a lot of real-world stuff, and we have to warn all the students, I don't care if it's kids or adults, that, guys, this is not something to play with because it could seriously hurt someone.
Gosh. So many questions.
Why is everyone saying Elsa? That's funny, Kathy.
We were just trying to see if we were frozen.
Somebody said we were frozen, so I said if we're not frozen, say the word Elsa.
Okay.
Knight who says knee. I was razor wire. That's funny. Now you're the knight who says knee. Very good.
My brother has watched that so many times.
Oh my son he used to be addicted to that movie.
Is there any way a prepper would only be seen as a prepper? Like the whole enemy of the state comment in prior video really rocked my thought process.
It should. It should rock your thought process. Unfortunately, because we're talking about the government, that is, because it's not just your aunt and uncle wanting to come over and eat your food, but the government has you labeled. And they've unfortunately been keeping tabs on this even since the NSA built their new super center to hold all this metadata. So there's nothing you can do that will turn that away. The only thing you can do is at this point, try to make your impact as little as possible. And if for some reason, let's say a year and a half down the road, they come knocking on your door because Barack Obama signed an executive order in which during a national emergency, they can come take your food. It was signed by Obama himself. You can always say at that time, oh, guys, yeah, I was into it, but I realized that was just crazy, and I stopped following it and stuff. And maybe they'll believe you, maybe they won't. Depends on what you've done since then.
What do you think of the truck convo coming to the border to help protect it?
Yeah. So honestly, there's a part of me, it's like, yes, I'm super excited about it. Woo. Yes, yes, yes. But another part of me, I'm very weary and worried that this could lead to a civil war. And it's not a matter of just worried about a civil war on our turf and our territory, but we have many adversaries around the world right now who are chomping at the bit to take over the United States if they're given a chance. That could be the chance, because that's right out of the playbook of military strategy, is make it so countries fight amongst themselves, weak them down, and it makes them easier for invasion. Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid all of this simply may be playing into that hand. That's what I'm more concerned about and worried about. But obviously, the whole border thing is ridiculous, and it has to be taken care of, because it's having open borders like this makes us completely vulnerable. And that's why I'm like, all these truckers go down? Yes, yes, yes. I'm happy about that. But with the battle going on between Abbott and Biden and all this stuff does make me very, very concerned.
This one's interesting. Can you use broth for water/electrolytes? Like chicken, turkey, or beef?
Let me think about that. Can you use broth? No, you can't. The broth is going to have a lot of collagen in it. A lot of collagen and proteins, which, by the way, FYI, is incredibly good for you. Broth is one of the best things in the world to drink to stay healthy. I'm not kidding you. And I do, after workout, sometimes drink broth. And as I'm drinking it, I'm like, this is totally gross, but I still drink it. But I don't think it has high levels of electrolytes. And electrolytes, I mean, it's not hard enough to make your own electrolytes. Just simply, every time you have a glass of water, just put a couple pinches of salt in there anyway. But it definitely has a lot of the stuff in there that's really good for you.
Is DT losing it mentally?
I don't know. I wonder.
It wouldn't surprise me with everything going on.
I wonder, because here's the thing. We look at the mental condition of Biden, and they're practically the same age. They're almost the same age. Those are thoughts that cross my mind, too.
He has better hair. So many food processing plants burned down over the last couple of years. Are any of them being built back?
No. Not only not being built back, but instead, and turns out that it was not an accident with them burning down in the first place, but now a lot of those plants have switched, the company switched over into like bugs and lab-grown meats instead of actually having those plants there.
Oh, no.
So we kind of saw that coming. What's up?
It says Freddie Prinze Jr.'s dad, the show ended because he shot himself. Suicide. Mental illness.
I remember that. I
do not remember that. I wasn't there.
No. That's a couple years before your
time. Do you have any experience with recharging batteries and flashlight run times? Oh, there we go. I've personally been experimenting with Maglite 2D cell flashlights with D rechargeable batteries.
Cool. Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, I recharge with batteries. My nerdy self, and I'm not calling you a nerd, but my nerdy self, I love doing that kind of stuff. I'm like an Excel graph master. I love doing those kind of things and seeing progressions over time. But when it comes to rechargeable batteries, I personally have not done that. It's something you need to seriously consider, though, especially when it comes to solar generators, because people think solar generators will always keep running like that. They do have a recycle time. They can only do it so many times before they don't work anymore, or they've been seriously diminished.
Oh, this is an interesting question. I live in a retirement community and have no security. Any suggestions?
Yeah.
Knives.
Harbor Freight. I mean, it's really funny. I thought about making a video just on Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight has a little security section. Everything from safes to motion detectors, glass break detectors, glass window openers, What else do they have? They've got a few things like that. That, like for us, which we haven't done it in quite a while, when we even just go camping, I take battery-operated motion detectors with me, and we put them out so if somebody comes into the proximity, they go off and let me know. So that would be something seriously you would consider. If you want to have something as far as you worry about personal security, you might want to consider by getting one of those flashlights that's also a stun gun. I mean, it depends on the laws where you're at, but also depends on, too, if your nursing home allows you to have a stun gun. I mean, it could double if they don't give you enough Jell-O with the. I guess assisted living is not nursing home. I love assisted living homes. I think they're so cool.
Well, they said a retirement community.
So. Okay, even better. I love that kind of stuff. Because they always have like pool tables and events and stuff.
True.
That's just fun.
Someone called Biden a potato head.
He is a potato.
That's my nickname for him now.
And it's ironic too because I don't know if you know it, but they're trying to genetically make it so potatoes that you get from the store don't have the eyes in them anymore. And they claim it's to make them more palatable when you look at them, but it makes it so you can't grow them yourself.
Yeah.
And ironically, Biden, his eyes don't work anymore either. He's always like this. And he always does this little, he does like the old man scratch. Like, I'm like, it's something in my head. He's like, just come slow.
Someone said there's always homemade weapons too. Shanks. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shivs. Absolutely. I guess it depends where your retirement home is. If it's on C block, then yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not saying Freddie Prinze Jr. is dead. We're saying his dad.
His dad.
Yeah. Here's a quick question. Is Himalayan pink salt a good choice?
Himalayan pink salt is fantastic. The vitamins and such, not vitamins, the trace minerals that are in it, that's why it has the colors, makes it an excellent choice as opposed to regular just sea salt.
I'll be right. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Wow, are those all questions that I need to answer?
Yeah.
I guess I'm a little behind. I can't read that, Naomi. I should read the first one.
Yeah, that's the first one.
I read today a natural gas pipeline was shut off. Coincidence? No. I mean, obviously, the first thing is, by the way, you should never believe in coincidences at all. Anytime anything happens, your first thought should be is, what's the reason for this? Because people have motivations or motives for reasons for things happening. I suddenly feel very alone. But I guess with all you guys in here, I'm not quite alone. But obviously, it's not coincidence at all. And just as like the same thing, look, we suddenly had some meat plants burned down. Oh, that's terrible. And now some of those same companies are now, let's switch over to bugs or using lab-grown meat because it's not at all just a coincidence at all. And that's the whole thing is you should never think of things as coincidences. There are so many questions coming through, and Naomi has on there, so I will just try to answer these the best I can. Wow, a lot of people are talking about Freddie Prinze Jr. Let's see. Wow, somebody doesn't like Himalayan salt? Yeah, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. or Senior, I mean. Here's one. Oh, no, there it is. Thoughts on a timeline for the possibility of an EMP. Personally, I don't believe an EMP is probable. And I know this always gets me in hot water because other channels talk about how EMPs are going to happen. You have to understand how an EMP works. First off, if you simply just take a nuclear bomb and detonate it in a city or in the middle of the grassy fields in Kansas or something, will it cause an EMP? Sure it will. But since it's on the ground, first off, as far as direct line of sight, the EMP effects are going to be seriously diminished. Secondly, an EMP to truly be effective has to be in what's called the ionosphere. So here's the Earth. Surrounding the ionosphere, or the Earth has this thick layer of ions called the ionosphere. If you set off a nuclear device in the ionosphere, then it uses those ions to drastically, exponentially increase the effect of the EMP. Drastically. Now, first off, to try to take out all the United States, you need 6 to 8 devices practically simultaneously or close to it in the ionosphere to make everything go down. If you only have one up there, it will cause that grid to go down. There's 3 grids, by the way, East Coast, West Coast, and Texas. Okay, so let's say it's the East Coast grid goes down. Where the EMP is close to, it's going to be down for a while probably, but surrounding areas in that grid, they will be getting it up over the next day or two. Okay, but that's beside the point. How are they going to deliver that EMP? That's what you have to think about. Right now, the only way that we know of for sure they could deliver an EMP is through ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile. And so we send them over the North Pole, by the way. Let's say it's coming from Russia, coming over the North Pole. NORAD's going to be picking up an incoming missile, and we're not going to say, hey, guys, it's okay, it's just an EMP. No, we'll say, oh, look, there's a nuclear missile heading in, and we have no choice but to retaliate with a nuclear missile as well. The EMP, practically speaking, will be the least of our worries because we are now at nuclear war against Russia. Think about that. So just a random EMP going off, unless it possibly is a false flag, or was launched to make it take place because a nuclear retaliatory strike is coming anyway, now you have full nuclear war. Just having an EMP is not very likely without a nuclear war that's going to follow behind. And then the EMP is going to be the least of your worries if that's the case. That was the only question I saw in here while you were gone. But I'm glad you're back now.
Okay. Question again in further detail. So off the grid with a generator with solar, both perfectly grounded with generator underground. Wait, what? This isn't properly. I don't think it's properly.
All right, let's see. Question. So
Whoa.
off the grid with a generator and solar, both perfectly grounded with generator underground, will a solar flare as well as will it be a solar flare and EMP proof?
Okay.
Practically speaking, yes. The biggest problem when it comes to any electronic devices, be it a generator and solar system too, by the way, or electronic devices, your generator has electronic devices in it if it's plugged into the grid. All right, so if an EMP hits or a coronal mass ejection, let's go ahead and just pretend they're synonymously the same, which is, they're pretty darn close anyway. If you just have your phone sitting on this table, statistically, it's gonna survive. And again, this goes against so many people saying this because they don't know what they're talking about. My computer is going to die because it's connected to the grid. It's connected to the outlets. Because it's not the EMP hitting your house that causes so much devastation. It's the EMP causing all the current to be transferred down the power lines outside your house, going across the country, and causing major arcs and sparks and fire and everything else in your house, and frying anything that's plugged in. Anything that's plugged in is getting fried. So if your generator and solar system is connected to the grid, and by the way, your breaker, the giant breaker on your breaker panel, if you shut it off, won't stop it. It'll jump right across that. Any surge protectors you have won't stop it. Any breakers you have won't stop it. It's going to transfer right across. In fact, let's say my computer's sitting here and there's an outlet nearby. It'll arc across from the wall to my computer if it's close enough. Okay, so solar systems, solar panels themselves will not get affected with the EMP or CME, neither one. However, the charge controllers, any electronics in a generator and such will be, unfortunately. But being grounded is going to drastically help. And when you see like the EMP shield, for example, that's what it does, is it shunts all the extra current straight to ground, bypassing your house, and that's the whole point of it. Hey, what else we got?
Sorry, someone's asking about my channel. Do you think the Texas border issue is a trap for truckers?
I do.
Yes.
I'm not going to say I do. I'm afraid it is. I'm afraid it's a trap for truckers. I'm afraid it's a trap for the Texas National Guard. I'm afraid the whole thing is a trap to suck people into having a civil war in the area, therefore drastically increasing federal control. That's what I believe. That's what I'm afraid of. How about that?
What is the best salt? Redmond, Celtic, or Himalayan?
I don't know.
Celtic.
I know Redmond's good. I've never had any personal experience with it. So by default, I have to pick Himalayan. Although I've heard Redmond's good. I just personally have never used it. I've heard Redmond a lot, by the way.
In the event of an EMP, could it destroy lithium batteries used in cochlear implants? Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The batteries themselves have actual electronics in them. The cochlear implant has electronics in it, obviously. Not the internal part of the cochlear implant, although that's actually electric too, but your skin actually helps protect that to an extent. It's for the fact that the batteries and the cochlear implant device on the outside is not plugged into the wall. It stands a miraculously amazing chance of not being affected because it's not plugged in. Anything plugged into the grid is fried. Anything not plugged in, including your car, by the way, driving down the road, 95% of cars will survive an EMP, which goes against what people say. People think all cars will fry. They're saying, oh, no, they have like some kind of magic year they pick. Oh, anything before 1984. Yeah, that sounds good. And they kind of pick some kind of random year they think electronics started in cars. I mean, I'm not saying it is or isn't. But all cars, practical, will still keep running. If you have a car that's plugged into the grid, like an electric car, it's going to get fried because it's plugged in the grid. If you have an electric car driving down the road, there's a good chance it's going to still keep running after an EMP or CME event. And that's actually from doing tests, by the way. We can make EMPs now in a lab very easily. People think, well, this is all just guessing because we can't make EMPs. Oh, yeah, we can. We make EMPs all the time. In fact, we have in our military arsenal the ability to use EMPs against our enemy without a nuclear device.
Someone keeps asking this over and over again. Although I lost the question. Okay, the general idea. Okay, here's.
They're going to get mad at you.
I've been prepping for years. When is something going to happen? That's a really hard question.
Yeah,
to
there's a
answer.
question. And honestly, for the fact that, okay, the question is, if you didn't hear, this person's been prepping for years. When's it going to happen after all? I hope that you can rest assured that you've done the right thing. I've been prepping not for years. I've been prepping for decades. And for the fact nothing drastic has happened makes me happy because I'm not prepping to simply say, hey guys, told you so. Look, I got my corned beef hash and you don't. It's to survive. And you know what? If nothing happens, I've got extra corned beef hash so I can survive. So it's one of those things where, I mean, look, at any time in history right now, not in history, but in the last 70, 80 years, now is the time to prep. It really is. For the fact they haven't changed the doomsday clock makes me say you guys are crazy because I think we're closer to doomsday than any other time.
I apologize, hey you. There was a super chat.
Oh, was it? You missed
that
it?
Clocked out.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to look at hers. It's from Hey You. I love that name. $5. Did you see the U of M study that said home gardeners have a higher carbon footprint than factory farms? Yeah. Want to guess what they use that info for? Oh, yeah. And it's really funny. It's U of M, isn't it? For the fact that they are actually trying now to get people with home gardens to register their gardens. Have you heard that? There's a reason for all this stuff. Carbon footprint my butt. It's, don't get me started. That's going to make me mad. Not you, hey you. We love you. Love all you guys. But the whole thing with this carbon footprint is such a load of crap. It's garbage.
It's garbage, yeah. Hannah's studying upstairs.
Yeah. Hannah is usually the one. Naomi, by the way, by default is an introvert.
Yes.
She just generally doesn't like talking to people.
It's true.
I'm not going to say she doesn't like people. She likes people. She just doesn't want to talk to them. She likes to watch them from afar, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hannah is our, socialite. She's all about talking. Get her to stop talking. That's the trick.
We haven't learned it.
But because she has school, Naomi's graduated from university now. So she has more time. But Hannah is in college, so any night Hannah can't do it. Naomi steps in. Naomi's happy to do it.
Yep. They pay me. No, I'm kidding. I saw on my referral for medical military.
Gray woman.
Are they called a federation?
I don't know. I was laughing at what Gray woman said.
What did she say?
I like a man with a little carbon footprint.
You're very funny, Gray woman.
What were you saying, Naomi? I apologize. Your font's too small for my old man eyes.
You're old man.
I saw on my referral for medical military they're called a federation.
Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
I don't know. I haven't seen that. I'll have to look into that.
At what point do the bad people come knocking on your door?
At what point do they come knocking on our door?
The government, not
Oh, yeah. I don't see... My cat's walking on our piano over there. Can you hear it?
Yeah. Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh. Someone said I'm your right-hand man. Yes.
I see when crap hitting the fan not being a gradual thing. I see something major happening. And just like we saw 3/4 years ago, there was a very quick escalation of things, wasn't there? I think when this happens again, it'll be just a matter of probably a month or two before they put out an executive order for food confiscation. And that's when they'll come knocking on the door, I believe. Echo 36. Echo 36, we got $5 over. Rural Post Nuke. Thoughts on community effort to harvest diesel, refer box vans and trucks from FedEx UPS distribution, and get all the cows on ice. Oh, yeah, for sure. Getting as much of that as possible is one thing. I always say add to your inventory list a siphon pump. It's what we have, because you'll never know if we need, not even just like for a truck and such, but for like if we see, I think one of the biggest probabilities are a grid going down for whatever reason, like cyber perhaps, and having a siphon pump will save you to be able to get that essential gas you need. But obviously, all those trucks, not even just the gasoline and diesel, but they're going to be like full of who knows what kind of goods in there. I mean, honestly, UPS probably has more like tablets and stuff that you don't even need. Useless stuff from Amazon that people don't need, but probably not a lot of food. But yeah, the gas and diesel is definitely a very big possibility.
Yeah, if they knock at the door, don't answer. Just like hide and pretend you're not there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Even in our peaceful times right now, and I say that with tongue in cheek, setting it up right now where if the police come to your door, by the way, that unless they have a no-knock warrant, say nothing, be quiet, don't let anybody know you're there.
Turn off the lights.
And I'll say that if we talk about even crap hitting the fan, and we're not talking about government people coming to your house, same thing. They'll knock and they'll try to say, hey, let's try to go in this house. And if you answer, then they know you're there. They know where you're at. Be completely quiet. And if they end up trying to break through the door, then it's an ambush. So don't ever let anybody know in those situations that somebody's in your house.
Yep.
You have more questions? I know you have 3 million questions tonight.
Yes. Well, go off of that one real quick. When they come knocking at your door, will it be only for food or medicine and... Wait, come back. Question.
That's a good question. Will it be for other stuff? How about that?
And supplies.
I know the executive order is food. I don't know if it's for other stuff too. I'd have to review it. I wish I had an answer for that.
Oh, there we go. Do you think they go after certain people who are against them and stop their Social Security? Oh, yeah, / disability?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Using all this as a weaponized federal government is already being done right now. And if you're not seeing that, you're not reading enough stuff what the federal government's doing. It is absolutely by the day becoming weaponized, and they go after their adversaries, whereas people in their own areas who have worse charges, they completely leave alone. This is happening right now, so it's only going to get worse.
Can you freeze insulin pens?
No, you can't freeze insulin pens. I mean, you can, but they won't be good anymore.
I was going to say the same thing. Can you re-energize a solar generator from a gas generator?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Can you yeah. So
never thought of that.
Any power source can revitalize your solar generator, providing it didn't fry somehow. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I guess that's without being said. But yeah, any power source like a gas generator will do it. But I want you to understand, and I think a lot of people don't think about this stuff, that every single time you have the transfer of electricity from one source to the next, it loses some electricity. There's no such thing as a perfect source. So if your generator puts out 1 kilowatt and your solar generator needs to charge 1 kilowatt and this only puts out 1 kilowatt, you're only going to get like 900 watts. You know, like it's going to be less. You know what I'm saying? So there's always a less as far as the transfer goes. Keep that in mind. But nevertheless, you certainly could. I saw another question. Where'd it go?
Is it about the door?
No.
Because I have
There's
one.
a question about the door? Go for
Yeah,
it.
how can you keep quiet if you have children and dogs? Duct tape. No kidding, don't do that.
Dogs are one thing. I mean, obviously, having dogs barking at the door is always a good thing because people don't know if it's a little chihuahua or a big dog that's going to tear them up.
Well, you can tell about a chihuahua.
What?
Like, you can tell between a chihuahua.
True. That is true. It's a chihuahua with a big manly dog voice. Yeah. Yeah, so obviously the dogs were about. Kids are a different story. All right, I'm going to tell you right now, my kids,
Me.
they grow up, not grew up, but they still grow up in a household where prepping mentality and self-defense and everything is what we do. It's what we always do. It's what we've always done. And if somebody knocks on our door, everybody knows instantly to be quiet and do not stand where anybody at the door can see them. They know. So I guess it's just a matter of like training your kids to make sure that's happening. I know you have young kids sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it sometimes without. I mean, a lot of times you don't even know they're coming to the door, but if they do, you might want to see if you can get into the basement or something, you know. But our house, somebody comes to the door, it's like instant silence. And they know that only I'm allowed to answer the door and I protect myself. Or if I'm not there, then there's a hierarchy as far as who answers the door. This is what we do. It's what we've always done.
Or have large speakers with a dog barking.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
the
you go.
Chihuahua with a microphone.
There you go. If the border is such an issue, why hasn't he enforced border laws? Can I talk?
Oh, actually, well, here's the thing, though. It's not even just a matter of the laws. He's breaking the law because, and we've been saying this forever on this channel, even before this, what we're talking about as far as what's happening in Texas right now. But it's actually really simple that he has a constitutional right in the executive branch to protect the citizens of the United States. And by purposely leaving the border open and actually taking away the protection, he is breaking the law. Whoa. It's like some big bug.
Oh, there's a stink bug on you.
Oh, is that what it is? I was like, I heard a big bug.
Buddy. You can sit here with me. Here, this one's for you. I made it big for your eyes.
Do you think allulose is safe? Thanks for the vitamin video. From what I've read, allulose, I haven't seen any problems with allulose. Maybe I could research it more. But I believe as far as the sugar goes, it's definitely good compared to the artificial ones and between regular sugar as well.
How are you so smart?
How am I so smart?
Yeah.
I take a lot of vitamins. I don't know,
Crossword puzzles.
It's just, I know I'm smarter than the average bear, but I don't like to say that because it sounds conceited. I don't mean that way at all.
Yeah,
There's a combination of a few things. Obviously I have intelligence, but I have also combined that with a type A personality. I used to sleep 4 hours a night, read around the clock, study everything. I always have like this huge checklist in my mind of questions. And I wait until I come across somebody who's a professional in that area. And I'll say, oh, wow, you do this? Yes, I do. I've got questions for you. And it usually bombards them to the point where like, where'd this come from? Who are you? And I love to learn about everything. That's just who I am. And my kids are like that too. It's just really fun to, actually I turn it into a learning lesson. My kids probably learn, and I say this jokingly, not to ask me a question how something works. Because it's not a matter of like, oh, it's like this. It's like, hey guys, family meeting. Let's all sit down and I'll tell you how the actuator on a helicopter functions for lift. And stuff. I don't know. I'm just making that up.
Someone says it's a ghost touching you. Nah, he's a little bug.
Yeah, it was a little bug.
Do we
flew by my ear.
Do we have a P.O. box? People can send us stuff.
We do have a P.O.
for
box.
review.
To review?
Yeah, someone said for review.
I'm not sure what you want me to review. If it's like a book or something, I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty much book solid. But I'll put my P.O. box on there.
Where do you use the solar fridge, Eric?
Hold on 1 second.
I thought you can multitask.
There's our P.O. box. Where do we use it? And what's nice about it is actually it's made to be used right outside. So even if there's snow and stuff, you put the panels up and it continuously recharges it. But on a good note, you can put it outside during the day and it charges up with the solar panels, but then you bring it in and it has a really nice battery pack to it. So the battery pack will keep it going and obviously slowly discharge, but it works just like a regular fridge and freezer. So therefore over time, the compressor will wear the battery down, but having the solar panels for it actually makes it work really well.
Oh no. Speaking of don't ask you a question, there's a big question here.
All right, big question. Love it.
What's the difference between a hydrogen, uranium, and plutonium bomb?
Oh, man. I have to be careful with this because I have a lot of... when I was taught this stuff in the military, it was deemed confidential. So I have to be careful. Instead of going into detail between all three, how about this? I'm going to keep it at a very rudimentary level. But, oh my gosh, this is like... Don't get me started. Are you doing this to mess with me because I love talking about this stuff? Is that what it is?
If you're asking me, you know. We have easier questions.
No, the thing is, it's already coming up an hour and a half. This is like I'm trying to see how I can explain this in a minute because I would like to talk about this for 4.5 hours.
I'll time you. Where's my phone?
Simply put, uranium and plutonium bombs work the same. We're not talking about the trigger mechanisms for the bombs and the bomb casings. That's a whole different discussion. It works like this. When you have an atom, and the atom is large enough, and a specific type of atom, it becomes unstable, and a part of it will break off. When it does, it releases energy and heat. That's simple. Okay? So what we do is when we actually compact the right amount of uranium or plutonium, it has to be the right kinds of uranium and plutonium, by the way, into a dense area, and we introduce particles to it without getting into classified stuff, exactly how it works. it makes all those atoms unstable. So for this one part of it, when they break apart, they'll release heat, and more of those particles will join to the next ones. Neutrons, basically what it does. And then it starts spreading through the entire sphere of uranium or plutonium. And next thing you know, practically speaking, the entire thing is starting to break apart simultaneously, releasing so much heat and energy, it's a nuclear explosion.
Go watch Oppenheimer.
Easy? There you go. The difference between that and the hydrogen bomb is when you actually add the hydrogen to it at the point of the explosion, it drastically, and I mean drastically, amplifies the explosion. In fact, when the first hydrogen bomb was done and they did the test of what's called Castle Bravo, they estimated the megaton yield at like possibly 500 kiloton to 1 megaton, and it turned out to be a 5 megaton explosion. They were like, whoa. And apparently they were actually off on their calculations and realized it was actually a lot larger of a detonation than they thought it was going to be. That's long story short. There you go. There's a condensed version of how they work.
I'll have to go.
We took Naomi to the nuclear
Museum in
nuclear fallout museum. What no, the
I think it was
nuclear
just,
nuclear testing museum.
yeah, I think that was it.
And for me, I was like a kid in Babyland.
It was funny.
Oh, I was like, oh, look what they have here. Look at this. And I was just... And I actually had some stuff they didn't. I tried to talk to the museum curator, and I said, I've actually got some stuff I could donate to your museum if you like. And they're like, what do you have? And I said, well, let's talk to the curator. Like, well, he's in a meeting. And I was like, well, I'm not going to talk to you then.
Okay, here's some quick questions.
That is true, Lee Jones. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were firecrackers compared to today's nukes. Absolute truth.
What handheld walkies do you recommend? The little SpongeBob ones.
Yeah, the ones from Radio Shack from the 80s that had a real long antenna.
Yes.
I love those walkie-talkies. I use, oh my gosh, what brand do I use? So here's my brain. Let's talk about advanced nuclear physics and how a nuclear bomb works. And I'm trying to stop myself from saying stuff that I can't say. But I can't remember the name of my stupid walkie-talkies.
Are they the ones from Stranger Things?
Yeah, exactly. It's the one from Back to the Future. We had the giant battery pack attached to it. I don't think they're Motorola's.
I mean, no.
Honestly, Motorola's are some of the best anyways. If you're talking about just regular walkie-talkies, I find most of them work well. There's one brand, however, I bought that it was supposed to be rechargeable. You put them into a dock, and the recharging barely lasted on them. I was frustrated with that. I think you'll find most walkie-talkies work pretty similar. So, there you go.
How can I clear my record for paying my ticket on a Visa going to Jan 6?
Oh boy, how can you clear your record? I don't know if you can. The only thing you can actually is talk to the credit card company itself, but Midland. Thank you, Jerry. It's a Midland. That's what I have.
What?
I was thinking Motorola.
I was like,
I have Midland walkie-talkies. Yeah, and for my ham radio, I have Baofeng. I actually have a couple of ham radios. And I do have Motorola's too.
I have so many comments.
Anyways, going back to that, I don't think there is a way you can clear your record. I would almost guarantee you can't, unfortunately.
Have you ever heard of Firefly Aerospace?
Fireflight?
Firefly.
Firefly Aerospace?
Like the TV show.
I have not. No, I haven't.
Okay, here, this one's for you. Because I can't. Here. Your old man eyes. Squish bug? No.
Is Apache pot good for camping over a fire? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I know that brand, but I don't know how well it works or what it works for.
Have you ever checked out New York Prepper? He's a great reporter.
Once or twice. I've seen him once or twice. I like other channels. I try to find time to surf around and watch other channels. I don't watch any other channels religiously per se. My life, I get up in the morning, I have my caffeine, I answer a ridiculous amount, I say that lovingly, amount of followers emailing me in the morning. It's unbelievable how many emails I get. I try to answer all of them. If it's like a paragraph, it's easy for me to answer. Sometimes if it's a question, I'll wait a day or two until I have time to answer it. But sometimes people write a life story, and I simply don't have time to read those. Then after that, I start preparing for videos and what I want to talk about. I get going and have like a breakfast or a lunch and sometimes a brunch. And I work with my kids for homeschooling. Then in the afternoon, I sit down and film and edit and do our live stream. Then that's usually just enough time to have dinner before I head off to martial arts the rest of the evening. So that leaves me very little time to look at other people's channels. I do, on occasion, just stop in to see what people are doing, or sometimes I'll do it to stop and say hi. I love when other prepper channels go live, and which is rare I even find that. When I do, I like to stop in and say hi. Because I think it's good we all have a community and talk with each other and help each other out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Does EMP affect a pacemaker, CB, or GMRS radios?
The answer is possibly. Now, the reason I say possibly for the pacemaker is understand that your skin is an amazing insulator that's good at stopping ions. Number two, your pacemaker, unless it's like an old one from 1942, is not plugged in the wall. It's inside your skin. The odds of it happening where there's going to be EMP or CME messing their pacemaker, in my expert opinion, that's what I have, is going to be, I personally don't think you have to worry about that at all. I have read one paper on it, and where the physician said it is something you should be concerned about. But I find that finding somebody who's a physician and a physicist together is the part you want to look at, and that's what I am. I don't think it's anything you have to worry about, personally. Now, your radios, however, even though they may not be plugged in the wall, still have a better chance because they do have a longer area, including an antenna, which is designed to pick up frequencies and such. They do have a better chance. But if they're not plugged in the wall, there's still an excellent chance those radios will still work after an EMP CME. However, since those radios are small enough, I would still recommend you have a Faraday cage for them. What I like are dedicated Faraday cages for equipment. Like, I go to our local Army surplus store, and they have the giant metal boxes. I buy these things, and I literally find all the devices that will fit in those boxes and store them in there and have them ready in case of an EMP or a CME. If it's a large enough CME, by the way, coronal mass injection from the sun, if you haven't read about these, we'll have 30 minutes notice. That's it. Before like an X40 class flare, which will fry everything. You'll have like 30 minutes. And I'm worried I'm going to be at the grocery store, which for us, that's more than a 30-minute drive, trying to get home in time. Even if I get the warning to get the stuff in there. But, again, if it's not plugged in the wall, it still has a chance of surviving.
Okay.
I know we have a lot of questions, guys, but it's already we're already on it for an hour and 37 minutes, guys. Because of my brain injury from the military, I'm getting to the point where I can't handle much anymore. So we'll go like maybe 2 more minutes, maybe a couple more questions.
Definitely this one here. I will let you read it. Don Hill really wants this one answered.
All right. Can substitute salt water for sodium chloride be flushing for a nephro? Yes, you can. The biggest thing is when it comes to salts, and by the way, even sugar will work too, by the way. All it does is sets up what's called a hypertonic solution, where any type of living tissue, your body included, bacteria and such, when they're exposed to a water with a high concentration of salts, it'll make it so the bacteria will shrivel up as the water is being pulled out of the bacteria. Your red blood cells do the same thing, by the way. It's called crenation. And so anything that's basically flushed with the salts, and that's exactly the same reason, by the way, they would take salts and put it on meat and stuff back in the day. So some people still do it, obviously, is because it literally kills off all the organisms and making anything that lands on the beef, for example, will die and will not work. So it's not the salt, it's the high concentration of particles that does it. Great question.
What about satellite phones for communication?
Are they good, or what's the question?
That's
what about satellite phones for communication?
I mean, they're cool.
Yeah, satellite phones are always great for communication. All you need is a direct line of sight with the sky, and you're good to go. If you're going to be looking at an EMP, again, we're looking at a situation where it's going to be more than just an EMP. We have absolutely missiles to take out satellites. And I just read that the Russians right now are developing, Chinese too, are developing weapons for space to shoot down other satellites that are already basically up there. That's what they're in development right now. So, although it's a good thing to have, I would certainly, for that kind of price, by the way, have its own dedicated Faraday cage for it. But secondly, just understand if crap hits the fan, depending if it's World War III, the satellites themselves may not be there. Just keep that in mind.
Could the border crisis cause martial law?
Okay, we're going to end with that question. That's a fantastic question. Could the border crisis end with martial law? That's what I'm afraid of. I fear this whole thing is a trap. I fear that it's what they want is people to show up and cause this stuff. So that way the government can now enforce stricter regulations, especially during election year, and make it so martial law could be enacted. Especially if we see this with the border, and now suddenly all these sleeper cells in the United States, which are there, it's been corroborated by the federal government, come awake. So literally could cause mass chaos. And next thing you know, crap hits the fan in 2024. That is a very real possibility. Okay, guys. Brain is fried. I am ready to go to bed and relax. But guys, we did a record tonight, an hour and 40 minutes. I believe we'll be on next week too. Let me check my phone real quick.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
All right, let me pull up my calendar here, guys. We'll keep talking in the meantime. How you doing?
Yeah, sorry guys if we didn't get to your question. There were a lot of questions. I had a document full of them. And there were a lot of comments. But it was great seeing everyone.
We'll be on next week. February 4th, next week. And then honestly, guys, I love live streams. I may actually just do a live stream in the middle of the week too, just to kind of stop in to say hi to everybody. But we'll see how that goes. But we'll definitely be on next Sunday, guys, back at the normal time, the same bat time, same bat channel.
Yep.
All right, love you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Bye.
Sorry if we didn't get all your questions, but we'll get them next time.
Good night.
Have an amazing week and keep on prepping.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.